Right, you heard about innovation this morning. We're the guys that help you protect it. The Intellectual Property Office is the operating name of the Patent Office. We changed our name about 4 years ago. Just to reflect, we don't just deal with patents. People would think, the Patent Office, where do I go to get a trademark? Surely not the Patent Office. Well, it is. You come to us. Over recent years, IP is becoming worth more than your fixed assets. You can generate this for yourself. Go back to your offices when you get back. Look at your fixed assets, your tables, computers, chairs. What's your IP worth? In most respects these days, your IP is going to be worth more than your fixed assets. And it's a growing trend. Absolutely, it's growing. And we, as a nation, are very innovative. You've heard about the Global Innovation Index this morning already. Well, we're coming up. We're actually now sort of third on that index now. So we are growing. So we're really innovative, but we're not very good at protecting it. And we know that because we do regular surveys. This is one we did probably end of July last year. 96% of businesses do not know the value of their intellectual property rights. Again, you in the audience, most of you might own businesses. If I were to phone your offices tomorrow, first of all, ask to speak to the person responsible for your intellectual property, what are you going to tell me? Don't know what you're on about. And if I say, what's your IP worth in that business, what are you going to tell me? I don't know, I haven't got a clue. You're not alone. 96% of SMEs could not value their IP. Only 11% of businesses know if you tell someone about a brand new idea, before you attempt to protect that idea, it stops you protecting it. It's no longer new. And only 11% of businesses know that. And what's the first thing you want to do when you come up with a great new idea? Tell someone, look what we've done, look at this, it's fantastic. You do that, and if you haven't used a confidentiality agreement, then basically you won't be able to protect that idea. 74% of businesses could not identify the owner if you've had something created for you. Who owns that IP? Now, a lot of you probably are in business. Hopefully you're in business. Some of you in business. Quick show of hands, you're in business? Yeah. Got websites? Yeah, you've got websites. Did you create that website yourself, or did you get a web designer to create it for you? Usually it's about 50-50. Those of you who used a web designer, you've paid your money, you've got your website. Who owns it? Not sure. 74% of businesses did not know who owned their websites. Alarming. And only 4% of businesses have got an IP strategy and IP policy of how we use it, what we do with it. Again, in the audience, how many of you have got IP portfolios? If I phone your office tomorrow, can I see your IP portfolio, please? Quick show of hands. 5? How many are here? 200? 5 people on IP portfolio. You've got an exit strategy. First, you're going to say to you, I've got 2 million to invest in your company. Show me your IP portfolio. Do you own your name? I'm not sure. Do you own your website? Don't know. Where's that money going? It's not coming to you. So make sure you get one in place. So what is IP? We've heard the term. It's not one thing. It's a bundle of things that businesses will be generating, creating, and potentially owning and added value to their business for. Patents. We opened our doors in 1852 as the Patent Office, protecting inventions. But as time's gone on, more and more things have been added to our remit. Trademarks. If you are in business, you've got a trademark. Where do I go to get your goods? Where do I go to get your services? Buy box, trademark. Thermolastics, a trademark. Is it a trademark? Have you searched to see if it's a trademark? Yes, no, possibly, okay. Again, make sure you do. It can be alarming to find somebody else owns your name. Registered designs, the shape, the appearance, the look of a product. If people buy your products because of the look, generally you can protect that by registered design. Copyright. Everybody uses copyright. Everybody generates copyright. Potentially, everybody owns copyright. And again, I'll cover the main 4 in a little more detail just for 5 minutes. Confidentiality. Who uses confidentiality agreements? Again, quick show of hands. Most of you. That's good, okay? If you don't, I would suggest you do. Because if you're promoting your goods, your services to some person, who are they talking to later in the day? Guess who was in this morning? Guess what they can do? Have a look at this. If you've used a confidentiality agreement, they can't do that. So make sure you put them in place. Trade secrets, yeah, might help you. Recipe for Coca-Cola, that's a trade secret. So you might have a trade secret. If you can keep it a secret, it might be the way forward. And even if you're producing new types of plants, seeds, that type of thing, you can even protect that with intellectual property. So intellectual property, not one thing, a bundle of things that you in business will be creating, generating, potentially owning, and adding value to your business. So quickly go through the main ones. The first, trademarks. Because if you're in business, you've got one. Where do I go to get your goods? Where do I go to get your services? That potentially is your trademark. So what is a trademark? Any sign capable of being represented graphically. If you can put your mark, your name, your logo on a piece of paper and send it in to us, potentially we can register that as a trademark for you. It's got to be capable of just telling you apart from a competitor. That is what a trademark tries to do, a badge of origin. Now this is, again, with a lot of people get this wrong. I think, well, okay, I'm based in Newcastle, I'm going to be a web designer, I will call myself Newcastle Web Design. That's not your trademark. It's where you're based and it's what you do. That is a terrible trademark. A good trademark, Mars. Tells you nothing about yummy, tasty, caramel, work, rest and play, but as soon as you see that golden red writing on that black wrapper, you know instantly what you're going to get within that wrapper. That is a good trademark. So what can you register as a trademark? Your company name, yeah. A lot of confusion there as well. I'm registered at Companies House, therefore I own the name. No, you don't. You own it on the company's database, but not to use in trade. A trademark allows you to use it in trade. A logo, so 3 stripes, a tick, dogs, cats, animals, chevrons, logos, absolutely, can be registered as trademarks. Domain names, the majority of you said you've got, websites. Your domain name, potentially, a trademark. A slogan, I'm loving it, just do it. Once you've popped, you can't stop. Exceedingly good cakes, just do it, Slogans, if you've got something that people would recognize, it potentially can be your trademark. Colors, a single color when it comes to a trademark. Yeah, you can register a single color. Does it work? When you register a trademark, you don't get every business area. You get a particular class of business. So if I just say to you, yellow for breakdown recovery vehicles, which company is it? The AA own the colour yellow for breakdown vehicles. So if you're thinking of going to that industry, do not colour your vans yellow because they will simply stop you from doing it. A shape, yeah, a tubular, triangular bar of chocolate. Toblerone own the shape of the chocolate and the shape of the box. So again, if you're entering that field, do not make your chocolate that shape. Gets a bit more difficult as you go down. So music, again, yep. If music, you hear a piece of music, you know who it is, potentially a trademark. So direct line, when you see that lovely red telephone, you will always hear that jingle. That is their trademark. The Intel 3 chimes when you turn your computer on, that is a trademark. Gets a bit more difficult again, so non-traditional. You can even register a human gesture as a trademark. And I'm thinking, what about Asda own the right in somebody patting their back pocket twice? Ideally their own back pocket, subject to other issues. But this is how far trademark registrations have gone. And smell. Can you register smell as a trademark? Now this is where most people think, yeah, what about perfumes or aftershaves? They're not registered. Because you have to be capable of representing it graphically. Try and describe your perfume or your aftershave in writing for me to understand what it is. Very difficult to do. Mine smells of breadcrumbs to attract the birds. Come on. Yeah, sorry. There are 2 registered smell marks, however. The first, the smell of roses as applied to the tyres of cars. Dunlop own that. And you're thinking, why on earth do they want rose-smelling tyres? Is it so when you get knocked over, you smell nice when you get to the hospital? It isn't. It's if you put your spare tyre in the boot and you drive a hatchback, if you open your car door and smell roses, you've got a Dunlop tyre in the boot. The second one is even more bizarre, the smell of strong bitter beer as applied to the flights of darts. Why? I have no idea. They are the 2 smell marks we have. So if you have got others, please attempt to register them. You may not be successful. If you're a small business, stick with your name, start with your logo. The others will come as you grow. But look at them. Make sure you're not infringing somebody else. Costs. A UK trademark will cost you £170, not vastly expensive. And that will last you for 10 years. So £17 a year to protect your brand. Good value? We would argue it is good value. It's quick as well. We'll search, we'll examine within 6 weeks, and it will hit the register in about 5 months, 4 to 5 months, if it's unopposed. So if it's out there, you might want to think about protecting it. Overseas, you can file abroad. There are mechanisms to allow you to do so. 6 months to take it via the Paris Convention. Our friends at OHIM, the Office for Harmonisation in Internal Markets, they will give you a European-wide trademark for €900. 3 classes, again for 10 years. Further afield again, so if you want beyond Europe, the Madrid Protocol takes your branding further afield again, so America, China, India, wherever you wish to go. The second area we cover, registered designs, the look, the appearance of a product. If that's why people buy your goods, then it might lead itself to registered design. So the pair of shoes you're wearing today, did you pick them because of the cost, the colour, or because of the look? If you pick them because of the look, then generally they will be protectable by registered design. So vehicles, lighting, fashion articles, jewellery, cutlery, crockery, furniture, all leads itself to registered design. And it's relatively cheap. It costs you £60, and it protects 3-dimensional articles, 2-dimensional patterns. No protection for the function, how it works, what it does. That's where we're looking at patents, and I'll come on to that in a moment. And no protection if it has to be that shape to do its job. No design freedom, no design registration. As I said, it's cheap, 60 quid. Gets you a design in the UK for 5 years. It lasts for a maximum term of 25 years. 5 periods of 5 years. So you renew it in 5-year tranches. Overseas again, absolutely. Paris Convention allows you to take your designs abroad within 6 months. Our friends at OHIM will give you a community design for €350, all 28 countries. Think of where you are taking your products. Further afield again, Hague Agreement allows you to take it beyond Europe. The third area, the wonderful world of patents. Now, unfortunately for us at the office, when we mention the word patents, the British public conjure up a guy wearing a white coat, hair standing on end, smoke coming from him, and he's got an invisibility spray or a time-travelling device. And people think patents are about really strange and diverse objects. They're not. We receive around 20,000 applications every year. Less than 2% are wacky, strange, odd. The other 98% good, solid technology. So what is a patent? Oh, I've got a few there for examples for you. There we have. Anybody got children in the audience? If you don't want to mop your floor, a baby grow integral with a mop, of course. There we have the Pritt stick. This is obviously the butter stick, so you can do your toast with some butter. A device for timing the amount of time your tea bag goes in the cup, And last but not least, I do actually quite like this one. There has to be a technical effect. Can anybody see the technical effect behind that T-shirt? It's when you can't reach that itch, you have a little map on the front, and you're going to ask a colleague, it's B2, technical effect. Weird, wacky, strange. That's what people think patents are all about, but they're not. We receive, 98% of what we receive, good, solid technology, and we get around 20,000 a year. So what's a patent? It's an agreement between the state and the inventor. Basically, we will give you a limited monopoly for a period of 20 years where you can restrict the market, you can give licenses for people to use your technology. In return, we want some money. Again, not vastly expensive. You're looking at £230, the official fees for filing a patent, but we want a technical description. That is where we would suggest or recommend you use a patent attorney, because that can actually be quite complex. So our fee's $230, patent attorney between £2,000 and £5,000. So, it is worth using one. The fourth area, just for the last couple of minutes, the wonderful world of copyright. Unlike the other areas, it's free, it's automatic, and it subsists in the material as soon as it's created. So there's no registration system, no forms to fill in. It exists as soon as that material is created. So for businesses, SMEs, it's all these things. Books, reports, training manuals, sculptures, photographs, computer software, websites, your logo. All of that is protected by copyright and protected automatically by copyright. No forms, no fees. And it's international. Who owns it? Now, this is absolutely crucial for small businesses because usually the creator owns it, subject to being employed. So if you have employees, fantastic. Anything they create belongs to you. If you're employees, anything you create belongs to your employer. However, get that contractor in, the guy to write your website, the guy to take your photos, the guy to design your logo. If there is no mention of IP in the contract, he will walk away with ownership of what he's created. So for those of you who've had your website designs for you, you've paid your money, you've got your websites. If IP was not mentioned, the guy that created it owns your website. You might want to address that. Even if you sell e-commerce rights, you'll retain a moral right over how that work is used. It lasts for a long time. In respect of literary, musical, artistic works, it lasts for the author's lifetime plus 70 years. No, not 70 years from the use of the material, but the author's lifetime plus 70 years. For films, it's 70 years after the death of the people who produced it, directed it, etc. Nothing to do with the actors, which is why suddenly actors become producers and directors, because then they have rights in the film. For sound recordings, it's 50 years from first broadcast. You may have seen in the press over recent years, Sir Cliff Richards up in arms because of a lot of his early work coming out of broadcast copyright. Not the author, didn't write the words, didn't write the music, so he only gets 50 years, he's the performer. He wants this extended to 100 years. We're in two schools of thought at the office, and you can help us because it's a bit of a dilemma. If we extend it to 100 years, you're going to hear less Cliff because he's free, you have to pay to hear him. If we don't extend it, then you're going to hear more Cliff because he's free to play. Yeah, it's a dilemma, isn't it? It's been answered for us, however. It's going up to 70 years. European directive coming down on the 1st of October, so that has been extended. And there's a publisher's right how you lay things out on a page. Just to show you how much money is tied up in copyright material, these are the people who are dead, but within that 70-year window of earning a fortune from their copyright material. Who do you think is in last year's top 10 dead earners? Elvis isn't dead. Michael Jackson's in there. It's a bit of an anomaly last year. Elizabeth Taylor died last year and amassed a fortune in artwork which was sold on. She won't be in there next year because that artwork's gone. And there's a whole raft of other people regularly earning fortunes. This is per year. This is not over the duration. So Elvis allegedly is dead. 55 million every year, and another 30 years of that coming in. And you can leave it to whoever you wish to leave it to. Albert Einstein has left his 10 million to the Hebrew University of Jerusalem. So it's property, treated as such. You can leave it to whoever. Bringing it all together, there is a jar of coffee you will see on every supermarket shelf. They have a registered trademark for the Birds logo on the lid. Nescafe, Gold Blend, all registered trademarks. They have an unregistered trademark of the best tasting decaffeinated. They have a registered design in the shape of that jar. They have copyright in the artwork, labels back and front, and they have several dozen patents in the freeze-drying process, decaffeination process. So in that one product, every form of IP is being used. I would suggest you go back to your offices, see what you own, do an audit, add value to your business. If you want local support and help, there are regional libraries. You are lucky because the local library is a business and IP centre just across the road. They would help you to administer and look at your IP. Have a visit. They're here today as well, so have a chat with them today. That's our website. We've got a call centre answering inquiries for you. We do a newsletter, goes out once a month. It's an incredible read. I know because I edit it, so I would say that. Sign up for it. You know, once a month you get stories on IP. Health check. If you do want to do your own audit, you can go online and do your own. We've got to answer a series of questions. You get a confidential report on what you own and potentially adding value to your business. Thank you very much for listening. I'm going to hand you back to Simon. I think we're going to have a quick break now.